Jean, can you hear us? Yes, great. Okay, we're ready to go. Council President.
Right. Good evening. I call this March 22nd, 2022 Lake Stevens City Council meeting to order. If we could all rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Very apparent. Mayor Galey is absent. He's away on military duty. I'm Steve Ewing, Council President, filling in as Mayor Pro Tem, and I'd like to thank Council Vice President Sean Frederick, who's filling in for me. If we could get a roll call.
Councilmember Daughtry.
Here.
Councilmember Peter Shagan.
Present.
Councilmember Frederick.
Present.
Councilmember Dickinson.
Present.
Councilmember Jorstad. Councilmember Ewing.
Present.
Councilmember Taggett.
Present.
We get a motion to excuse Councilmember Jorstad.
So moved. Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All
All right, approval of the agenda. If there is any discussion on the agenda, we'll hear it now. If not, we'll entertain a motion to approve the agenda.
Move to approve the agenda.
Second. It's been properly moved and seconded. Any further discussion?
Give it.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All right, we have an agenda. Thank you. Now have the time for citizens' comments. The way citizens' comments works, you have 3 minutes to address the council on anything that's not already on the agenda. Looks like we have some green sheets here. So let me get my timer out here. All right, we'll start with, apologize if I do not pronounce your name correctly. Raquel Pegram, if you could please come to the podium.
Hello, my name is Raquel Pegram, and my husband and I actually just relocated to this area from Marysville last summer. We're very happy to be in this area. However, my husband and his family have been a part of this community since the 50s, maybe? That might be a stretch. His mom, his dad, himself, and his daughter all graduated from Lake Stevens High School. So coming back into this area has been kind of an honor and definitely a dream of his to come back here. And we are fortunate enough to have met Brian and Amy Lewandowski. And we currently own and operate a restaurant in Marysville that has thankfully survived COVID. And now we are a proposed, I guess, cornerstone tenant for the new property that is being built hopefully next door. So the Creamery is the name of our business, and we are just here to kind of introduce ourselves to everyone here and hopefully, you know, become a better, bigger part of the community.
Excellent. Well, welcome to our community.
Thank you.
Brian Lewandowski.
Okay, so I'm Brian. I'm the managing owner of Lakeview Flats LLC. Unfortunately, on the agenda for very last thing today. Anyway, I'm just here to say that I love Lake Stevens. I'm a member of the Lake Stevens Chamber of Commerce, the Lake Stevens Rowing Club. My wife's a member of the Rotary. We go to almost all the city functions, the weekly farmers market, the beer gardens, the music events. We play at the park with the kids. We swim at the park with the kids. We roll around the lake. We really do love it here. It's really been a great lifestyle to bring the kids out. But we always found ourselves wanting more here, right, in this beautiful downtown area. So when the city put out a request for proposal, 9 months ago now or something like that, we quickly jumped on the opportunity to help elevate this downtown Stevens area here. So we were honored to be selected at that process. And now my passion for the last 9 months or so has been working with the city and architects and engineers to collaboratively design a building that will continue to keep elevating this downtown area and build upon what the city has already done with this great park. So we've designed a 3-story mixed-use building, about 15,000 square feet, slated to go right here on the corner of Main and the new Millspur Festival Street. We've got it slated for a couple restaurants, a coffee shop, and basically we just wanted to create this gathering space, this place for family and friends to congregate here at the park. And so that's been our mission. Like a month from now, the Lake Stevens Rowing Club here is going to have their first regatta of the season, right? And this lawn is going to be packed with boats and cruise shells and the boat ramp parking area from people from all over the Pacific Northwest. They're all going to show up right here. And unfortunately, they're all going to have this feeling of, well, what do we do right here? What do we, 12 people are going to be like, is there some place we can go and sit down and hang out for a bit? And from past experiences, we know that feeling. We were here volunteering at the last triathlon that Lake Stevens hosted here. Beautiful event. Lake Stevens has got a really cool triathlon course, right? All these thousands of bikes lined up on the lawn, and that's what we experienced. Everyone was like, where are we going? What are we going to do? So that's what we're hoping to bring to this downtown Lake Stevens area. So thank you. We're honored. We're not developers from Seattle that are just putting up a shell and core that are going to get a Red Robin and a Starbucks in this thing. We're sourcing all of these businesses locally. That's our goal here, to make this all about the community. People like Raquel and Jeff that have this creamery, this ice cream shop that they're going to bring here as their second location. People that actually give a damn about the community that they're in. And, they host the police department, networking groups, all that kind of fun stuff. And that's the kind of attitude that we're hoping to bring here to the downtown Lake Stevens area. So again, thank you for your time. Honored to be here.
Thank you, Brian. Amy.
Might be a little redundant. So I'm Amy Lewandowski, my family, Brian, and our 2 kids and mother-in-law moved here from Everett about 6 years ago. We knew we wanted to raise our kids in this beautiful community that we now call home. And so we are partners in the Lakeview Flats LLC, and we support the building of it. I am now a registered nurse in labor and delivery at Providence, and our kids are in 2nd and 4th grade. So community may mean different things to many different people. For our family, it means everything. We believe that taking care of our neighbors, participating as active philanthropists and volunteer is the backbone of making the world a little bit better every day. We learn these life lessons at the YMCA of Snohomish County, which I'm humbled to say I'm now a board member of. It was there that Brian and I realized how important it is to show up for one another, where strangers can take care of each other, become best friends and business partners. So once we moved to Lake Stevens, we immersed ourselves among our community and have had so much fun doing so. We packed meals with hungry hearts. We've learned to swim with the lake. We learned to ski with the Lake Stevens Water Ski Club. Brian is better at me than that. We've swam with open water swimmers. He's got the speed, but I've got the distance on that one. We provided the food bank's hand washing station when COVID hit and collected food on the lake during the Easter boat parade, as well as regularly collecting in front of the Hagen. We have adopted a street, Lundin Parkway, and we regularly pick up litter with our family and neighbors all over town. We've wheelbarrowed mulch and wood chips and donated materials to Down to Earth Community Garden. Our kids have participated in and we've sponsored Lake Stevens lacrosse, soccer, baseball, and basketball. We advocated for safety and were able to get the skate park repaved so the loose rocks wouldn't cause serious accidents. We participated in place in Lake Stevens Triathlon and the Aquafest Quadrathon. And most recently, we learned to row with the Lake Stevens Rowing Club and can't wait till racing season. I am an active member with the Lake Stevens Rotary, and I am loving learning from the diverse members and supporting nonprofits. We love this lake community and we are deeply invested here. We know this is an active and growing community. So many families have gathered here to raise their kids in this safe and exciting city. We want our building to be one that families can enjoy year-round, rain or shine. We want to see kids, teens, young adults, senior citizens at North Cove Park attending farmers market and other city events. Our vision is that this building with its coffee, ice cream, and pastries will serve families and anglers alike. Our family-friendly Pacific Northwest Burger and Beer Restaurant and upscale cocktail and mocktail bar will support these growing events, like the Run for Your Life Suicide Prevention Run, the Health and Wellness Fair, Aquafest, future regattas, and parades. We are committed to this community and want to foster a sense of belonging and fun for everyone.
Thank you. All right. Clerk Joan, do we have anyone in the audience or in the virtual?
We do. Yeah, we've got
Chat.
3 people. I'm
Okay.
bringing in our first person, Darren Piper.
Okay, we could bring in Darren.
Okay.
You have 3 minutes. Darren?
Yep. Darren, I see you've joined us. You're on for citizen comments for 3 minutes. You do need to unmute yourself.
All right, can you hear me now? Are you able to hear me?
Darren?
Yeah, can you hear me now?
Wow. We should still be able to hear him. I see him talking, but so
Can you hear me now?
all right, yes.
Thank you.
Good deal. I don't know. Yeah, I was just if I'm interested, if
So, we
council
lost him
is,
again.
if council's gonna rezone, take a look at rezoning the land up on 20th Street, I'd be interested in taking a look to have my parcel up on the corner of 20 and 99th rezoned to residential.
What do you want to do?
These comments are going to be pertaining
Yeah.
to the hearing that's a little bit later, so we
Are they?
want to try
Okay.
and get him back on in a bit.
Okay. So we'll, Kelly, if you can make a note of that, we can.
Yeah. Darren, if you
Yeah,
can
go
hear
ahead.
me, thank you. Sorry, we're having a few technical issues with the audio, but I think you're speaking to the public hearing, the comp plan tonight, and that'll be a little bit later in the evening. So if you can stay on for us, I'll bring you back in during public hearing.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
The next
Yeah.
citizen.
So I'm bringing in Antoinette with the Snow Owl Library.
Right, Antoinette, you have 3 minutes.
Antoinette, you'll need to unmute yourself.
Good evening, everyone. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Wonderful. My name is Antoinette Morales Tanner. I am the manager of the Lake Stevens Library located at 2211 Grade Road in Lake Stevens. I wanted to take a few moments tonight to highlight an exciting partnership between Snow Owl Libraries and the Lake Stevens School District to enable automatic student accounts for every child in the district. Through this partnership, all students have a library card that is linked to their Lake Stevens School ID. This makes it easy for them to remember and to use. The cards give students access to Snow Owl's array of print and electronic resources, online homework help, and streaming content. They can use all of these materials at home, in the classroom, or at any Snow Owl library. Over the last several months, Snow Owl staff have worked with district librarians, staff, and teachers to put this program into place. 2 weeks ago, we sent out mailers to families in the district, letting them know about the program, and we continue to be available for ongoing training and support to make sure that all of the Lake Stevens students can easily connect to the wealth of resources available through Snow Owl. It's a very exciting project, and I'm thrilled that we're able to develop this partnership and provide easier access to these resources for the students, teachers, and families of Lake Stevens. If you have any questions about the program or anything else about the library, please feel free to reach out to me at the Lake Stevens Library. We're open 7 days a week. Thanks.
Thank you, Antoinette.
So next we have Kevin. I'm going to bring him in. Kevin, you'll need to unmute yourself. There we go.
Do you hear me?
Yes. You have 3 minutes. Go ahead.
Do you hear me?
Yes. Yeah. Kevin, we can hear you. Can you hear us?
Yes.
No, there's no chat.
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Or did I just get a thumbs up? Okay, there you go. Thank you. Sorry, I'm figuring this out as well. So I just also wanted to chime in and advocate for the development down in downtown Lake Stevens. I think anytime we can add things that bring people down to our downtown area and keep them and keep those tax dollars down in the city, I think it's a great thing. And I think I've seen some ideas of what it's supposed to look like, and I think it'll be a great addition to our downtown area. So I just would like to say that I am for it, and I think it would be amazing to have that downtown. Thank you.
Thank you. Kelly, is there anyone else that's
I
wanting
don't
to?
see anybody else. Just again, if anybody would like to speak, use the raise hand feature in Zoom so I can see you. Going once.
So if we can just make a
Nobody
note of the
else.
individual that wanted to comment on item 11.
Yep.
So that we can bring him back in at the appropriate time. We've got council business.
All right, council business. We will start with Councilmember Dickinson.
Thank you. Lake Stevens Kiwanis will have their 45th annual Easter egg hunt Sunday, April 17th, with 4,000 eggs in the hunt at Highland Elementary. The prizes will include 8 bicycles, 100 Easter baskets, and other special items. Gates open at 12:30 and the hunt starts at 1 p.m. Sharp. Bring your own basket or bag. Our bike park leaders, Joyce Copley and Stephanie Ruiz, have been working with Snow Isle to help bring educational resources to Lake Stevens. They've been working with Snow Isle leadership, and I did speak to Antoinette about this. She's very thrilled as well to better serve our community and respond to the request to have diverse educational tools for residents in Lake Stevens and beyond. Snow Isle responded with the new DEI page for our residents, and you can find collections of reading and easy access. These resources can help with engagement as our community grows and becomes more diverse. I was thrilled to hear about that. I attended the school board meeting and was blown away yet again with the hard work that this organization does. After a great discussion, they determined that masking would be optional for students. Public comments were again pretty challenging, but I was glad to have the opportunity as well to speak with the Student Advisory Council, hoping they can connect soon with the Youth Advisory Council. They are so grateful that we are now coming to those meetings and supporting them. It really has been a great thing for us to go get back in there. I attended the Senior Center Board meeting yesterday. Aquafest coordinator Michelle Hampton was there to confirm that this event will occur July 29th through 31st. Discussion followed regarding venues for transporting seniors to this event. Side note, anybody listening who is a good gardener, the Senior Center is in need of 5 garden volunteers. While the Senior Center is continuing with its many activities, funding remains a challenge. They have yet to see the ARPA funds, but I have chased that down and I have spoken to our finance manager about what's currently the issue. I know that this funding has been more complicated than we hoped, but they're definitely feeling the pinch. Fingers crossed the 30K will come their way soon. And it has been just a wonderful, wonderful day. I'm glad for sunshine, just gotta say.
All right, thank you, Councilmember Dickinson. Councilmember Tagin.
Yes, attended the utility committee today. We've been working on a rate study. All of them, I kind of wish they would have slowly raised rates over time. Looks like we're going to get a pretty big increase for the city of Lake Stevens, which I think is going to catch a lot of ratepayers off guard, but it's kind of a necessity. And then also I worked with Kim Daughtry and the Marysville Pickleball Club. So that way we're gonna try to host I think we are hosting a pickleball tournament for Aquafest. So it should be fun. So.
Thank you, Councilmember
Finally
Ted.
getting Ted on the opposite one.
Because I'm not busy enough.
Councilmember Davis.
Thank you. Attended Planning Commission last Wednesday. The ratification of the 2022 Comprehensive Plan docket was subject of a public hearing and Planning Commission, and it's before us tonight. So you'll see their recommendation in there. And also attended the Utility Committee with Councilmember Tadgett. Some interesting discussions as far as rate structures, things of that sort upcoming, and the discussion of Hartford, I think is a consensus between the Councilmember Tadgett, myself, and the sewer district that this issue needs to be elevated on a faster time frame. It will affect the rates of the sewer district. So we need to get our things in order in that regard out there. So with that, I would encourage that we elevate that issue amongst our planning staff. So thank you.
Thank you, Councilmember Davis. Councilmember Daughtry.
I attended Youth Advisory Council. You're going to hear that every time we're here because they meet every week. They're doing some great things. They had a dinner a couple of weeks ago to say thank you to all the volunteers that have worked with them and to the board. They are still working diligently on the Youth Advisory Council Leadership Summit that will be going on at the end of May, I believe. That's going to be put on for all of the youth in the entire Puget Sound area. So we'll see how that goes. It'll be the first time that anybody's done that. They have 4 youth advisory councils taking part in that. I also attended this morning Snohomish County's Committee for Improved Transportation, also known as SKIT. I've been on the SKIT committee for 12 years, and we're always talking about what transportation needs are in Snohomish County. Today, 2 very good things were presented to us. One was from the Airport Commission, talking about Payne Field. And what's interesting about that is the county has set up one person in charge of basically the airports in the county because we didn't have anybody who was actually looking at that. And they have a consultant on board right now and trying to figure out how to go forward with making Payne Field better. There's a 20-year plan out there that's getting ratified right now. And they finally decided that they needed to include what's happening in Arlington Airport in this whole thing, because Arlington Airport is becoming a very important facility for the county and for the state. It was already designated by the feds as one of the airports for emergency management. The reason being is because if we ever had the big one from Mount Rainier, then the trestle goes away, bridges across I-5 go away. There's no way to get goods and services over to the east, which is us. So they'd be going into Arlington and coming down 9. There's only 2 bridges to worry about on 9. So really, it was a really good one. Then we had a little bit of a briefing over what's going on with the state transportation budget that they passed during the short session, which has never been done before. It was kind of interesting. The Democrats decided that they needed to do a transportation package. They did not invite the Republicans to the mix, but we got a transportation package. Part of that, and along with the feds, we're getting $3.2 million to do the study on the trestle for the I-5 area. It turns out that the trestle problem on our side is not as big as the problem is going to be on I-5 if we just change our side. You have to figure out how it's going to meld with I-5. So there's $3.2 million in the budget for that portion. And there's several $1 million for the rest of it, like the EISs and everything else that has to be planned for. WashDOT is currently ramping up to take on that project and get it going. And so I'm kind of excited about that because it's only been 2 decades in the making. So ramped up about a decade ago. Other than that, I don't think I have anything else to talk about. How's
All
that?
right.
How'd I do?
Pretty good,
Pretty good?
pretty good.
Did I do 3 minutes?
Mayor Pro Tem Ewing.
Uh, Nothing to report.
All right. This Saturday, I attended the Veterans Commission Coffee Klatch. Was not well attended, but as expected, with us just starting to get back to doing them in person. Last Thursday, along with Councilmember Daughtry, I also attended the Youth Advisory Council meeting. They do meet weekly, and they always have a very well thought out, very methodical agenda that they work through diligently with a lot of energy, but continue to be impressed with that group. Really going to be a force multiplier in our community for years to come. Really looking at all the things, really looking forward to all the things that they're putting in place, not just for the members that exist today, but really setting the stage for that group to do good work in the future. That's all I have.
Thank you. So we'll now turn the time over to Tina and Lindsay for guest business. Before we have their comments, may I just share that one outstanding report that was submitted. I'm not sure who was responsible for that, but thank you. It was very thorough and easy to read, and it was helpful, especially to see vignettes about specific individuals who've been assisted to put a face with the people that are receiving services. So thank you for that. And also thank you for your monthly reports that we receive that you send to council. That's very helpful to keep us apprised of what's going on. So if you could share your presentation, thank you for being here to let us know what you have.
If you can just tell me next slide and then yeah, okay.
Okay. Am I coming in clear?
Yeah.
Okay. Good evening, everyone. Members of the council, I'm really grateful to be able to be here tonight to present to you and tell you a little bit more about our Lake Stevens Community Resource Center. I'm Lindsay Gagnon. I'm the executive director for our Community Resource Centers with Volunteers of America Western Washington, and I'm joined by Tina Mandela, who's our site director at our Lake Stevens Community Resource Center right here. So next slide. Okay. So just want to recap about what Volunteers of America Western Washington does, because you may have heard about VOA in various aspects because we do a lot of different things. Where our mission is to serve people in need and create opportunities for people to experience the joy of serving others, hence volunteering. So we really are a multifaceted agency. We do a lot of, again, like I said, different services, from hunger prevention, disability services, behavioral health. If you've heard of our 211 line, that's one of the programs that we run countywide. We run the Dispute Resolution Center. We have 3 ECAP locations. So that's Early Childhood Education and Assistance Program. So childcare for low-income families and their children who are 3 or 4. We have locations in Sultan, in Monroe, and in Everett. We have a new housing services department, which also includes emergency shelter for women and children up in Marysville called Maud's House. We just took over the Carl Gibson Senior Center not too long ago in Everett with their reopening. And last but certainly not least is our community resource centers, which of course I'm a big fan of. And we currently have 3 in Sultan, Arlington, and here in Lake Stevens. And next slide. So our CRCs, what we like to call our community resource centers, we're one-stop shops. We like to have all of VOA services accessible within our locations, as well as much wraparound services and care that we can provide to meet the needs of the families and individuals that call us or walk through our door. We want to make sure that we can either refer, have a resource right at hand, and actually walk alongside them for whatever help that they may need. So we provide just a wide range of services, from just emergency needs like food, clothing, maybe vouchers for gas to get to work, diapers, wipes, and formula. Each of our CRCs are considered a diaper bank. So definitely that's something we're really proud of. We have extensive case management. So from light touch case management, someone that's just needing some help, maybe they've had a recent loss and they might need some help catching up on their bills, to someone that really need some longer term case management support to get that stability. We have various assistance with different employment providers, making sure people have enough income to meet their basic needs and to live stably is very important to us. So that's a really big part of what we do. Job referrals, help with building job resumes, housing assistance, when funding allows. I like to put that in there too, because it's not all the time. But definitely we have assistance available to, like I said, keep families housed and to help them meet their basic needs. And then application assistance, that's another one of our top needs. People need help filling out applications to get benefits, to get that longer term sustainable income. And much more. So Kelly's advanced to the next slide, which is great, because I'll hand it over to Tina and she can dive into here in Lake Stevens what we do.
Thank you for having me again, and thank you for your continued support for this last year. So as you know, we did open our doors January 18th of 2021. We're located inside the Lake Church here on Vernon Road, and when we opened, we had one office. I was there alone for 6 months serving our community, and we were able to bring on an employee, and now we moved over to the West Wing as of February 1st. And that's really due to the need in our community and the growth that we've seen in the past year. We are open Monday through Thursday from 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. We've served about 3,000 participants, a little higher than that. You saw that on our annual impact report that I sent to you. The next was about 1,200 households in total. We offer a safe place to seek help and resources during trying times. As Lindsay said, we provide a wide range of support. We've actually just started our teen family group supporting their teen parents. Our first meeting was yesterday evening, and it was absolutely fabulous. The support that we have in this community, and how we all came together to rally around these teen parents looking for stability. We've also started our LGBTQA+. The reason for that is I follow our community board, and it's been asked for. So after 5-6 months, we decided that we're going to go ahead and take that plunge, and it's been widely received with over 1,100 likes and shares, which has been absolutely fabulous. Next slide, please. Right now, we're seeing a growing number of families and individuals who are reaching out to us, and they're reporting that they've never reached out for services before. And I'm the one who's sending you the monthly report. I'm working with these clients one-on-one. What I'm seeing is a lot of our middle-class blue-collar families. They're our highest served demographic in our community since we've opened our doors in 2021. Roughly about 40% of the clientele that I've seen report have never used services before. And that's including food-based services, community resources, anything like that. And of course, this was before the pandemic. Gas assistance has been really huge lately with the gas prices, with everything, just the rise in everything. We've been seeing a lot of individuals just trying to get to work. So luckily, we are able to help them right now. And I'm funding, of course, but we have been able to do that, and that's been an absolute blessing. While housing costs, they continue to rise, average incomes have stayed the same. What we have seen because of this is a lot more people are requesting food. They are visiting our food bank, of course, but a lot of times it's not enough, so they come to us, and we also help them in that way. But at the same time, we're not just handing the bill, we're not a handout, we're our hand up. So we talk, we see what's going on. So with that, we've been seeing an uptick in our resume building, helping our clients, repurpose that resume and job search requests. Clients are looking for higher paying jobs and honestly, second jobs. And that's, to me, is the second job piece is a bit scary because what that does, unfortunately, it leaves less time for parent-child interaction. And Lake Stevens, they're big on that. They're big on that, family interaction and that piece. And that's extremely important to myself also. And what that does, it adds additional stress on the entire family, not just the parents, but the children, and academically how it affects them. So we've just been seeing a lot more. More households are experiencing hardships. The COVID cliff, it is on the horizon. And preventive support through the CRCs are needed more than ever. which hence 3,000 people that we have served last year. For every dollar spent on the CRCs, there was an average savings of $4.93 for National Family Support. So that's just a little bit of what's been going on and what I'm seeing on a daily basis, not just me, but our support specialists and all of you. I know you have seen it. I know you've read it on the community boards. We're here to support our community. So thank you, and I'll give the floor back to you.
Thank you, Tina. I'm really glad she shared this the important statistic to me, because I see our impact every day of, again, for every dollar that folks invest into community resource centers like ours, substantial savings goes back into the community. So that stat by the National Family Support Network, that was actually done a few years ago. I can tell you from the pandemic, it's probably only gotten larger, our impact made to the community. From that. Again, the COVID cliff is on the horizon. And so that's why we wanted to come to you today, because services like ours that really hopefully prevent folks from falling into homelessness, falling into instability that can then cause trauma onto children and onto our future generations is what we want to prevent. So services like us that really walk alongside someone is really needed. And I think there's a lot of evidence that goes to support that too. But it takes a village, right? We're not sitting here saying that we can do it all because we need folks' help. We need your help to help support us. We don't have all the funding in the world. And we want to keep on making this impact in the community. I can't say enough about Tina and her staff. They've been 2 people distributing over $2 million in assistance. And along with that comes an appointment with case management. And so I can't say enough good work that they've done in the community. But again, we just need help to continue that. And what more good work could we do if we had more support? So I'll leave you with that. And also I have a special guest with me tonight. Kirk Pearson is our Vice President of External Affairs. And he would just like to come up here and just speak to you guys just for a minute too.
Thank you, Lindsay, and thank you, Tina. It's good to be here in Lake Stevens with all of you. And we're very proud of our community resource center we have in Lake Stevens. And I've only been with VOA for roughly about 7 months, but it was very heart-wrenching because my first, I think, 2 weeks, Tina put me to work, and it was the backpack drive? And it was wonderful. We had our law enforcement, our fire department, our local school district helping. And how many backpacks did we get out for?
I believe it's around 160 backpacks.
Yeah. That's one of the many things we do, and we're very proud of that. But I just wanted to give you kind of, if you're old enough like me, or remember Paul Harvey, the rest of the story, we do need some help. We've budgeted, we're behind on our budget regarding our resource center. And to the end of February, we were behind by almost $65,000. And with that, we need support in the range of $112,000. I'd like to talk to you probably offline more about that, but another $50,000 to get us through to the end of our fiscal year so we can continue to provide the services. As you know, with the people, the price of gas and the people that are coming for services, we're seeing new folks coming in all the time. So I will bring you some more information about that for your requests from our Chief Financial Officer, but we really need the assistance. We're asking the community, the City Council to help us if you can. So
thank you, Kirk, and thank you, Tina and Lindsay, for your outstanding presentation.
All right, thank you all.
Council President, can we ask a question? Yes.
Ms. Dickinson, I would like to donate a bike to the Easter egg hunt. So if you could please email me the information, I would be honored to do that.
Thank you so much.
Looks like Councilmember Peter Shagan has a question.
Yeah, thank you for your presentation. Very informative. I'm just curious. I mean, you have the Resource Center, Sultan, Lake Stevens, Arlington. Out of Lake Stevens, you're serving Granite Falls, Snohomish, a little bit of Marysville, maybe some East Everett or something, just Lake Stevens?
Yeah. So we do serve Lake Stevens, Granite Falls, and the city of Snohomish.
Okay.
Tina, can you come up to the mic?
Oh,
Thank you.
Apologies.
That's okay.
Again, that was Granite Falls, Lake Stevens, and the city of Snohomish. It's about 80% strictly Lake Stevens.
Okay, that was my next question. Great, thank you.
I'd like to make a comment. This is what has taken the place of what we used to have for the Lake Stevens Family Center. I think Marcus and I are the only ones on the council that remember the Family Center. It was a little house that sat right about there. And I got the pleasure of tearing it down finally after I worked on it for years, trying to keep it up. It was rat infested and it was a terrible little building to have them in, but they did really good work until the rug was pulled out from under them. And VOA has stepped up in the last couple of years to come in and do this for us. And I can't thank you enough. I was on the original board for the Family Center, and I was really sorry to see it go for the several years that it was gone. So I'm happy that you're helping us, and we'll see what we can do to help you back.
Thank you.
Any other comments from council or questions? All right.
I have
Thank
one question,
Oh.
sorry. Did you get your changer table yet?
I did.
Oh, good.
I got it one day before our first teen parent group.
Oh, good.
I have
All
an
right.
entire baby now.
Excellent. Excellent. Okay.
Very good. All right.
Thank you. Thank you.
We'll now have city department reports. It's like Aaron, you've got Director Halverson. Looks like we have introduction of a new employee.
Yes.
You find folks might know Chris Jones.
On the Parks
Chris
Board.
Jones he was on the park board a little bit. Chris Jones has joined the Public Works Department as our stormwater supervisor 2 weeks ago. We're happy to have it. Chris comes to the city from Snohomish County, where he worked for the last 23 years. Of those 23 years, he spent the past 16 years working in parks and road maintenance divisions. He has stormwater experience. He's done it all at the county level. We're happy. Great to have him here at Lake Stevens. Chris is a 16-year resident of the city, and he's been part of the Lake Stevens Little League and local youth sports for over 20 years. So you've seen some of those kids grow up and have their own kids. now. That's right. Chris has a passion for community parks, as you know, which is reflected in his 14 years of service on the Parks Board, where he left as their chair recently. Okay, those are my comments. Russ, did you want to add anything?
You stole a lot of the thunder, but I did want to just thank Chris on behalf of the city for his outstanding tenure with our park board for 14 years. He served several terms as chair and has always just had a passion for our park board and bringing our parks department and division forward. So it's nice to see somebody who's committed so much to the city as a volunteer now being an employee and continue that voyage and his legacy to improve this community. So thank you, Chris.
So let's welcome Chris to the family.
All right, moving on to consent agenda. If we get a motion to approve the consent agenda.
So moved.
Yep. Okay, it's been moved and seconded. Any discussion? Okay, all in favor of approving the consent agenda? Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, consent agenda passes. We'll now turn the time over, it looks like, to Dave Levitan. Is he?
Yeah, he's virtual.
Virtual, okay.
Yep.
for the public hearing on the ratification of the 2022 comprehensive docket. David.
All right, thank you. So I'll be sharing my screen just for, okay, Kelly, if you're able to enable that.
Yep, go ahead.
All right, so I'm David Levitan, the planning manager, and we're here tonight for the public hearing to ratify the 2022 comprehensive plan docket. So just a little bit about the docketing process. It's allowed by the Growth Management Act, where the city can make annual amendments to the comp plan, land use map, zoning map, other implementing ordinances on an annual basis. We also accept city initiated amendment proposals through January 31st of each year as part of the docketing process. We'll get into the citizen initiated map amendment proposals that we received this year a little bit later. So staff has been evaluating the proposals over the last several weeks and months. And now the Planning Commission held their required public hearing to make a recommendation on ratification of the docket. That was held last Wednesday, and now the City Council is required to hold a separate public hearing, accept public comment on the proposed docket, and to consider adoption of the docket via resolution. So the docket includes a number of city initiated text amendments, which are included in your packet as T1 through T7. A number of these are kind of annual amendments that we do basically to keep the comp plan, the various comp plan chapters current with things like updated demographic information, the most recent city boundaries, recent planning projects such as Vision 2050. So those are some of the amendments that are being proposed to the land use, parks, public services, and capital facilities elements. We're also proposing as part of the docket to do a minor amendment to the Shoreline Master Program. Basically, this was something that was included on the 2021 docket that we carried over into the 2022 docket. And then based on some feedback that we received at your February 16th meeting where we kind of introduced the docket, we're proposing looking at some potential minor text amendments to the 20th Street Southeast Corridor Sub-Area Plan. That would be in conjunction with Map Amendment M3, which I'll go through in a little bit. So that's basically taking kind of a look at the sub-area plan. It's been 10 years since that plan was adopted, so we wanted to have the opportunity to look through that. Are there some areas that we should be making some kind of minor updates to better accommodate our employment and housing needs over the next 20 years? And then just some minor administrative updates. And just if I can step back, this is a docketing process. It's basically directing staff via the resolution to look at these items as part of the annual comp plan amendment. It's not proposing to approve any at this point, so I just wanted to make that clear for anybody in the audience that's not maybe as familiar with the process. So as I mentioned, we received 2 citizen initiated map amendment proposals. We had originally received 3. One of those was rescinded. They're both within the sub-area, the 20th Street Southeast Corridor sub-area. As you can see, one of them is off of 97th Drive Southeast, just east of SR9, kind of north of South Lake Stevens Road. And then there's one on the eastern edge of the sub-area on the south side of 20th Street. And so that is proposal M1, and then proposal M2 is the one on 97th Drive Southeast. And I don't know why it's just started doing, I don't know if you're able to see it, but it's dictating. Yeah, I'm not quite sure what happened there. Let me see if I can turn that off.
Oh, there we go.
All right, yeah, I don't know what happened there. I didn't hit anything. So just moving forward, so this is proposal M1. This is on the south side of 20th Street. As you can see, if you look back at the past map, this is currently has an RA12 zoning designation and a land use designation of high-density residential. The applicant has requested that it be docketed to be considered to be changed from high-density residential to commercial with a concurrent rezone to the commercial district. The applicant is proposing to open a brewery. It's included as Exhibit A of Attachment 1, which is the resolution. This one was discussed briefly at your February 16th meeting. February 22nd meeting. There was, I don't know if I would say consensus, but a majority of the council felt that it was appropriate to explore commercial zoning within this area. So based on some of that feedback and some of the feedback that was received from the Planning Commission, we are recommending that it be included in the 2022 docket. I'll get into it a little bit more, but we're also proposing kind of a more area-wide map amendment proposal to be considered. That's proposal M3. So this is within the boundaries of proposal M3, but it would be considered separately. And the specific request to go from HDR from high density residential to commercial would be considered separately from that larger map amendment proposal M3, which is kind of more an assessment of land use and zoning designations in the sub area. The second proposal is proposal M2, which is located on 97th Drive Southeast. So this is a vacant residential parcel. It's within a residential neighborhood, but in 2019, the City Council changed the land use designation from high density residential to commercial and changed the zoning designation. I believe at the time it might have only been R4, and it was changed to commercial district. And so the applicant is requesting that just this single parcel be amended to allow for residential development. The analysis is included in Exhibit B to Attachment 1. And as detailed in the staff report and in the additional attachments that were included with the Planning Commission packet, staff is not recommending inclusion of proposal M2 within the 2022 docket, largely because it is for just that one parcel. It would basically create a situation for the properties to the north and the south and the west would still have their commercial designation, even though they have residential land uses. So what staff thought was more appropriate was to propose a more area-wide proposal, which is proposal M3, which would include this area, basically assess the land use and zoning designations within especially the eastern portion of the sub area. So we could still consider potential amendments to this area, but it wouldn't be considered on a site-specific basis. And so the aforementioned proposal M3, which is a city-initiated map amendment, it isn't any particular area within the sub-area that we're proposing to change. We don't have any particular properties. We wanted it to go in conjunction with the city-initiated text amendment where we would be considering text amendments to the sub-area plan. We also wanted to look at potential land use and zoning map changes that could be done within the sub-area to better accommodate our employment and housing needs. We have identified a couple of corridors that might be appropriate to look at when it comes to potentially changing the land use designations. That includes along 20th, there on the eastern portion, the south side of 20th, along 99th on both sides of 20th, and then also on the aforementioned 97th Drive Southeast, which would cover the area that was proposed within proposal M2. So as I mentioned, the Planning Commission did hold their public hearing last week. That was on March 16th, and they did make a recommendation that the City Council adopt the 2022 docket via resolution 2022-02. It was a 6-to-1 vote. From the Planning Commission, the one nay vote was from a commissioner that was hoping to see proposal M2 be included in the docket, but she was not opposed to any of the other proposed amendments within there, considering any of those within the docket. And so What we are asking now from the council tonight is to approve resolution 2022-02 after allowing for public testimony. And if it is approved, then staff will begin work on analyzing the proposed amendments with public hearings to consider any actual amendments held before the Planning Commission and the City Council later in 2022. And with that, I'm happy to answer any questions.
Great. Council members, any questions of Senior Planner Left 10? Okay, seeing none, we will open the public hearing portion. If we could start, Kelly, with the citizen who's patiently waited for us to get him for his comments.
Yeah, let me bring him in. So I'm bringing in Darren. So Darren, thank you for your patience. This is the public hearing on the comp plan. I'm bringing you in first since you started to speak earlier. Can you hear us?
Yeah, I can hear you. Can you hear me okay?
Yep, perfect. Go ahead.
Okay. Yeah, I was just interested in, I have the parcel on 20th and 99th of entertaining if you guys are going to do rezoning to possibly rezone mine back to residential, some sort, multifamily residential, if that's in the works. I was also wondering what's happening with the Everett easement for their water rights, if you've heard any more on that. And I'm also not getting on the last planning last Tuesday or Monday, whenever it was, for some reason I'm not getting the same information, or now I don't get nothing when when the emails go out as far as up to date on what was it, the planning map or the planning commission or whatever. So something's going on there when you're sending that out to my email. I'm not getting the proper emails for it.
Thank you, Darren, for your comments.
I have Brian McManus.
Okay. Brian, you've got 3 minutes to share your comments.
He may not be able to hear you yet, Council President, sorry. Okay, now he can hear you.
Brian, can you hear us?
Sorry about that. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes. You have
Excellent.
3
Thank
minutes
you.
to share your comments. Thank you, Brian.
Yeah, you bet. Hey, I just want to jump on and thank everybody for their support in getting us to this point and considering our proposal. We're born and raised here in Lake Stevens. We're in our 5th year of business. This is critical to our being able to survive and stay competitive in an ever-changing microbrew market. We would love to remain the Lake Stevens Brewing Company and not have to become the Lake Stevens Brewing Company of Granite Falls or something like that. So this is a key piece of our growth plan. We're hoping to bring a minimum of 10 jobs to the city, along with as we build the site out, plus the brewery. So just want to thank everybody for their support, and hopefully we can keep continuing the process. Thank you.
Thank you, Brian. Any other public comments? Anyone else online?
I do not see anybody. So again, last opportunity for public comment for our public hearing. Please raise your hand in Zoom so I know that you'd like to speak.
Okay, no more public comment online. Is anyone present in the audience would like to comment on the public hearing for the 22 comprehensive plan? Seeing none, we'll close the public hearing. Any comments or discussion from the council before taking action? Councilmember Peter Shaken.
Thank you. A couple of questions for staff tonight. Excuse me. I think Senior Planner Leviton mentioned that this would be addressed in the latter part of 2022. Is that about a 6-month time frame? Is that what we're looking at to complete
Yeah,
this?
public hearing and adoption should be towards fall or early winter.
Okay. Is there, I mean, it seems like we have two processes that are, one's very extensive with the M3 and one that is not very extensive, site-specific M2. Is there any possibility of dividing those up so that M1 could move along on a little faster time frame and not be
Comprehensive.
kind of drug into the big question of the M3?
So comprehensive plans can only be adopted and updated once per year. So that would be by a single ordinance. So they will be on a similar time frame.
So you need to process all
Has
those
to be
together at the same
processed
time?
concurrently.
Okay, great. I appreciate that. Thank you.
Any other discussion?
On that same vein, is there a way that M1 could be taken out of the process and done separately in a different way?
Not really. I mean, it's the text amendments and the map amendments have to happen simultaneously. The map amendments affect the text amendments for accuracy of the document. So that's really consistent with state law to process them all simultaneously. So you know the cause and effect of one to the other.
Okay, thank you.
All right, any other comments from council? Councilman Tadgett? No. Oh, I thought I saw you raise your hand. All right.
I would move to approve resolution 2022-02, the 2022 comprehensive plan docket.
Second.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded. Any further discussion by council? Kelly, if we could get a roll call on this, please.
Councilmember Daughtry,
Aye.
Councilmember Peter Shegid,
Aye.
Councilmember Frederick,
Aye.
Councilmember Dickinson,
Aye.
Councilmember Ewing,
Aye.
Councilmember Tadgett.
Aye.
Great. Pass.
And Councilmember, so 601 with Councilmember Jorstad, well, not abstaining, she's not present to vote. So thank you for that presentation, Plan 1110. We'll now move to item 12, the Lakeview Flats Development Agreement. Russ.
Great. Community Development Director Russ Wright presenting the staff report tonight for the Lakeview Flats Development Agreement. Certainly can.
The audience can see, that'd be great. Thanks.
Great. So the council has seen a few development agreements over the years, and some of the group here may not have gone through that experience. So just a little background. The development agreement is a legislative process that's considered a type 6 land use application, where the city council is the hearing body on this. What a development agreement does, it provides certainty between the city council and the developer on a project that is beneficial to both the council, the city, and the developer. And so that's what you do through a development agreement, is you set the terms of that agreement, whether it's through maybe some parking considerations, shared infrastructure, shared utilities, et cetera. In this case, the city's interest is that the city is selling this parcel with the intent to move their downtown sub-area plan along. Obviously, you've heard from the applicant earlier and people in support of this project and what they believe the benefit is to the community. So tonight, it's really just a brief introduction to the council to share with you this project. As you've already heard, it's about a 15,000 square foot building. It would include 6 residential condo units, some restaurant space, and would be a draw for our downtown Lake Stevens. We've been negotiating with Lewandowski and his partners for the past several months on a purchase and sale of the property in combination with the development agreement. The city's also been working with them on an option to lease additional parking space for their facility that they could purchase in the future. So just wanted to, again, get council's feelings on this project. As you look at the development agreement, that's an exhibit, the elevations, the site plan, before we finalize this document and bring back to the council for public hearing in a few weeks. Councilmember Dickinson.
Yes, I'm not used to being able to comment, but I'm going to comment right here. First of all, I am excited as can be. This could happen, and it has always been my hope that we would go up and not out, and having housing above these stores, restaurants, whatever they are, is fantastic to me. I'm so glad we were going up, not out. The other thing I wanted to be sure we were clear, I'm clear on the museum piece. So the museum will be on the other side of the Grimm House, would it, or would it be between this building and the Grimm House? I don't know.
The museum would be this side of the Grimm House.
Okay.
From where we're sitting, but it's separate from this project.
Right, no, I know it's separate, but I just want to make sure I was visualizing where it would be. Okay, thank you.
Yes, I may have missed it in the report. What are the approximate sizes of the condominiums that are being proposed?
They're ranging from about 1,000 to about 1,500 square feet.
Are we open for questions? Yes. Russ, a couple of questions. The parking that's to the west of the facility or the building, the leased parking?
Yes,
They have an option to purchase that at some point in time?
that's correct.
And that's what, 7 parking stalls? Is that to be used exclusively for this development, or can the museum folks use that parking lot?
As part of this development agreement, the city would be able to use that parking 4 times a year for community events. There's going to be some landscaped areas that are going to be open for community use all the time, some benches and things like that. It hasn't been discussed that that would be available to the museum in the future.
So I'm assuming if the Lakeview Flats is leasing it, there's going to be a lease term price for that lease.
That's correct.
Being negotiated at some point in time.
Yeah, it has been negotiated, and we just haven't brought that to you yet until we get all the final documents together.
Okay. And then as Councilmember Dickinson was talking about, the Grimm, coming east, the Grimm House, the museum, this
The parking
7-lot
lot.
parking lot, there's
Yes.
nothing in between the museum and the 7 parking
That's
stalls.
correct.
Okay.
I will point out that the parking off 123rd on the other side, the west side of the Grimm House, that was really the parking that was designated for use of the museum, future use of the museum in Grimm House.
The existing parking
On the
lot?
west side.
There'll be new parking created on 123rd as
Oh,
part
on
of
the
the Mill Spur project. There's-
West of the Grimm House.
Mhm.
Okay, got it. Okay. And then I see the city attorney has a signature block on here. I'm assuming he has reviewed this.
Yeah, the city attorney has reviewed all of the documents to date.
All right. I would like to commend the Lewandowski's for coming forth with their renderings and so forth. It looks like a very attractive building and a big asset to the city. So I commend you and applaud you for doing the extra work. So it looks nice. So that's all I have. Thank you.
Not seeing any other questions.
Oh,
Thank
I
you,
have many
council.
questions, but they're not going to get answered tonight. I'm not even going to ask them tonight.
All right, any other questions or comments? So there's, seeing none, there is no action to follow on that. Was there anything else that you had?
No, we'll be bringing that back, like I said, in a few weeks for public hearing. Just have
Okay.
to finalize a few things in the documents with the applicant, and then we'll be bringing it back.
Excellent, very good. So it brings us to the end of our meeting. Do we have a motion to adjourn?
Marcus?
What?
It's your turn.
Oh, move to adjourn.
Second.
All right, all in favor?
Aye.
All right.